So we are given the discourse class on the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 10, text 33, probably also reach 34. I think 33 should just be enough. Text 33. The opulence of the Absolute, in one sense, Lord Krishna is describing his own opulence. Lord Krishna is talking about how it's basically everything comes from him. He is the basis of everything. After all, the basis of devotional service to Krishna is to know everything about him. Because there is what we call Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. Sambandha is the understanding by which we know who is God, who are we, what are his energy, how does he pervade this whole creation, and what is our specific relationship with him. Just as, okay, we say God is great, but how great is he? You know, it's a Pravishtani is inside of everything, is also outside of everything. So this understanding is very, very important to know this understanding, because with this understanding, then it may be easier for us to render service unto him. Because when you want to render service to someone, you want to render a service to that person who has got the most unique qualities that no one has. Why do we serve Krishna? Because Krishna is all attractive. And why is he all attractive? Because when we study the nature, when we study the material energy, we can see that everything is within his energy. Everything is his energy. Nothing exists besides him. By his energies, he's inside everything by his energy. So it's inside and also it's outside. Just like Krishna's Paramatma, he's inside our heart. He's always with us, Paramatma. But at the same time, he's also outside also, which means by which we can actually have a loving relationship with him. The yogis, they meditate on Paramatma within the heart. But the devotees, the bhaktas, they serve the Lord as a person. They render service to him. They give him all kinds of loving gifts, flowers, eatable items, fruit, everything by which they offer to him. And I know there is a reciprocation between Krishna, and his devotees. Our loving service to Krishna is such that because it's very, very satisfying, which means there's not a time when somebody will start saying that, okay, I'm serving Krishna now. Okay, that's enough. Okay, that's it. Now my service is over. It's not like that. Because of Krishna's unique qualities, so service to him is always ever pleasurable, ever sweetful. It's ever pleasurable. It's so much pleasure is there, so much bliss is there. Kevala Ananda Kanda service to Krishna is a part of bliss, it's a place of bliss. Because the more service devotee render to Krishna, the more happiness they get. And that happiness is always in competition with the amount of service that one is rendering to Krishna. And that's why Krishna himself, he actually become very attracted by the service of his own devotees. Krishna Akashane. Krishna become attracted by the service of his devotees. So in the Bhagavad-Gita, So Lord Krishna is describing his energy, his vibhuti. He's describing his various energies, how he pervades the entire universe. So in today's verse, it's Aksharanam karosmi Dvanda samakskasya Aham eva kshaya kalo Dataham vishvato mukha Aksharanam of letters, Akara, the first letter. Asmi, I am, Dvandva, the dua, Samasikasya, of compounds, Cha, and, Aham, I am, Eva, certainly, Akshaya, eternal, Kala, time, Dhata, the creator, Aham, I am, Vishvata Mukha, Brahma. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Bhakti-yoga Swami Prabhupada Ki. Of letters, I am the letter A or R, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. Vishvato Mukha. Purport. Akara, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without Akara, nothing can be sounded. Therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are also many compound words, of which the dual word, like Ramakrishna, is called Dvandva. In this compound, the words Rama and Krishna have the same form, and therefore the compound is called dual. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate because time kills everything. Time is the representative of Krishna, because in due course of time there will be great fire and everything will be annihilated. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has 4 heads, is the chief. Therefore, he is a representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Aksharanam akarosmi dvandva samasikasya aham evakasya kalo dataham vishvato mukha. So throughout this whole chapter, after Lord Krishna described that how devotees, how they render loving service unto him, and how they are so much absorbed in that loving service that sometimes they cannot tolerate, the separation from him. So after describing this to Arjuna, now the Lord, because Arjuna had a question, Arjuna was asking about how the Lord actually manifests himself, how the Lord spread himself through his energy throughout the entire creation. Because after all, the whole creation is essentially the body of the Lord. Everything is within him, but at the same time, everything is outside of him. But nothing can exist without the Lord. So I just wanted to know how the Lord manifests himself throughout the entire creation. So step by step, the Lord is telling Arjuna about all this, because knowledge of God actually comes from God Himself. Knowledge of God comes from Krishna Himself. So Krishna said, Veda is said in the chapter 15 of the Bhagavad-Gita. So the Lord told Arjuna, I think chapter 15 text. Let me see. Yeah, the Lord said, Savyasa Chahan Ridi Sanivishto, Matas Miti Gyana Apuanamcha, Vedas Cha Savan Ahan Eva Vedya, Vedanta Krid Veda Vid Eva Chaham. So the Lord says that, yes, through the Vedas is to be known. He said, I can be known only through the Vedas, but I manifest the Vedas. He said, I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedas, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Yeah, even though the Lord said that He is to be known by the Vedic scriptures, but at the same time, the Vedic scriptures comes from Him. So He gives that knowledge by which we can know Him. So you can actually see the Lord is very, very merciful. Vedanta ki vedaham, vedavachaham. So because the Lord, He manifests Himself in various incarnations, especially in the form of Vyasadeva, whereby He compiled the Vedic scriptures so that we can know Him, we can know God. So the Lord is saying that Aksharaham Karosmi, because when we begin the education, we start learning the alphabet. We start learning the alphabet when we begin the education. Just like in the West, we have 26 alphabets in the West, starting from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like that. So 26 letters in the West. But in the Vedic education, there are 45 letters. So you have 14 vowels, and then there are 33 or 34 consonants. Vowels start with A, E, U, Re, Le, A, I, O, Ham. Like this is the 14 vowels. And then there's consonant, Ka, Ga, Na, Cha, Ja, Ja, Nam, Ta, Da, Da. Then sorry for my pronunciation because, So, Ta, Da, Da, Ta, Da, Da, Nam, then Ta, Da, Da, Nam, then Pa, Baba, Ma, then Yaralava, Baba, Ma, like that, Sasha, Ha. These are the 26, how many of these? 34, consonants. So they are like that. So you have the vowels, and then you have the consonants, which are there, because the Vedic education, especially Sanskrit is a complete science. It's a complete science. Now, the very first letter is A. The very first letter is A, and without this letter A, nothing can be known. Without the letter R, nothing can be known. That's the most important part of grammars. The most important letter is this letter R. So Krishna said, Akshar Ahakar. He said that Akarus means I am this letter R. So which means from here, it says here, because it said without akara nothing can be sounded, nothing can be known. So this is the beginning of sound. And Srila Vishnu Chakravarti, he has also written as follows on this particular verse. He said, among letters, I am the Akara. Akara is the first letter, and because it is part of all other Sanskrit letters, it is the best. This is also stated in the Shruti, Aksharanam Akarosmi. This is from Bhagavatam. Bhagavan says that among compound words is Dvandva, the dual compound. So there are two things here. You have the first letter, the Akara, which is the basis of all, of all language. And then there is also the compound words, samasa. So those who have studied, Sanskrit, so they know the samasa, the compound words, which just like they say Ramakrishna. When you say Ramakrishna, so that's a compounded words. We also say Radha Krishna. So this is a compound word, like two words which are put together and they are pronounced the same time. This is the Dvandva. So Krishna said that I am the Dvandva Samashika Sacha. He said, I am the dual compound words. So the Lord is describing this one. So Vishnu Chakravarti, he said, when in the process of making one word, two or more words give up their case endings and are combined together. It is called samasa, and the resulting word is called samaspada, or the compound word. Primarily, there are 6 types of compound samash: dvandva, bhavabrihi, karmadharaya, tatpurusha, dvigu, and avyayi bhava. Among them, dvandva is the best because in other compounds, either the first or the second part is prominent, or both words combined together give the meaning of another thought object. But in the Dvandva Samas, both words remain prominent, such as Ramakrishna or Radha Krishna. So therefore, Lord Krishna said that the Dvandva Samas, this is his energy, his vibhuti. So in this way, the Lord is describing his various energy, that he is the first letter R, the last letter H. And also when Srila Jiva Goswami, in his writing of Harinam Vyakaranam, Harinam Vyakaranam is the Sanskrit grammatical teaching by which, instead of just following the dry method of Panini, Srila Jiva Goswami he had composed a Sanskrit grammatical method of learning Sanskrit grammar through the various names of Krishna, whereby R represent, R represent, like the different names of Krishna, different alphabetical words represent, different names of Krishna. So which means it's not just a dry teaching of Sanskrit grammar. And Srila Jiva Goswami, he wrote the Harinamrita Vyakaranam in such a way that by the time one finished the study, one thing, you become Krishna conscious, and at the same time, you become a Sanskrit pandit. That's the way he has incorporated it. You become a Sanskrit scholar if you're able to study Harinamrita Vyakarana, and also you become Krishna devotee. Like in our Gurukul, I don't know if this, years ago, they used to teach the Harinamrita Vyakarana. I don't know if they still do, but in those days, it's part of the essential study of the Harinamrita Vyakarana. Is the basis of Sanskrit, of Sanskrit learning. So whereby Srila Jiva Goswami, he said, Narayana Udbhutoyam Vana Kramaha. He said that the Sanskrit alphabet with its order which begin with R, R, E, E, it actually appears from Lord Narayan. It comes from the Lord himself. Narayanat Udbhuto, which means Narayana means from Narayan, the Sanskrit alphabet has manifested from the Lord. So the Lord created this material world, he manifested this material world. But he also gives everything, learning, everything, how we can properly know everything. So that by knowing everything, then it's easier to get out of the material world. Because after all, material world is a composition of ignorance. But we're not supposed to be in the material world, we're not supposed to be in ignorance. So knowledge must be there. So when Brahmaji, when he was, when at the beginning of creation, he was trying to find out the origin of his existence. He was in the darkness. There was a big darkness all around. So he was trying to find out what is the origin of his existence. He was wondering here and there. And then the Lord just gave him some sand. He gave him some sand. Okay. Tapa. That's the first word that Lord Brahma heard, the tapasya. Whereby, by hearing this word, so Lord Brahma, he engaged himself in austerity. And after a long period of time of performing austerity, and then he was instructed by the Lord. The Lord gave him instruction. So Lord Brahma, he was instructed through this art, by which he was able to know everything, and by which he was able to engage in the creation of the universe. So you can just see. So he said that Narayan Udubuto Yam Vana Kardat. From Narayan, everything has appeared from him. So therefore, for those who are interested in learning, so this is actually the proper method of learning, by which the education, when we get education, it's not just the education should not just be some dry knowledge, some dry acquisition. Education should be aimed at understanding the Supreme Lord and understanding what is our relationship with him. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when after he came back from Gaya, because previously Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a big scholar, and he was known as Nimai Pandit, and he had many students, by which he will teach everyone Sanskrit grammar. He was he was the topmost scholar, of course. That's why he was called Nimai Pandit. So when Mahaprabhu came back from Gaya, after meeting with his spiritual master Ishwara Puri, so everything changed about him. Everything changed about him. That now everything Mahaprabhu said now is all about Krishna. So when his students, when they approach him, that they want to come, when they come for their regular lesson, and then they were asking Mahaprabhu about the Dhatu. Dhatu means the root of the Sanskrit grammar. They were asking Mahaprabhu to explain the root. Explain to us the Dhatu, which is the root of the Sanskrit grammar. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that time was known as Nimai Pandit. So he was explaining everything on the basis of Krishna. That if you want to know the root of everything is Krishna. Nothing exists beside him. And then Mahaprabhu was given every single Sanskrit grammatical method according to the fact that yes, the origin of everything is Krishna. That all these things is actually they are coming from Krishna, but it's also meant to understand Krishna. So this is the way that is going. So this was Akaro. So the Lord said, "This is me." And then of course we talk of Dwandwa, the dual letter, the dual words, the dual word which is called samas, the compound words like the When we say Ramakrishna, Radha Krishna, Sitaram, these all are compound words. And they are essentially, they actually complement each other. Radha Krishna complement each other, Ramakrishna complement each other, or Sitaram complement each other. So they both complement each other. And so this kind of a dual words, Krishna says, this is me. In one sense, this is all the manifestation of his energy. So basically, by this process, we are taught to see Krishna in everything, to see the Lord in everything. And then he said, Aham evakshayam kalo. I'm the inexhaustible time. The time is Krishna. Kalo Ishmi Bharata Sabat. So the Lord told Arjuna, he said, I am time. Time I am, destroyer of all beings, because after June, after I saw the universal form of the Lord, and after I see that all the soldiers, everyone, they're all entering into the mouth of the universal form. So Arjuna kind of became perplexed, because he saw the Lord's energy, he saw the Lord's manifestation, how he pervaded the entire creation, the whole universe. So Arjuna became concerned. So he said, Krishna, tell me who you are. Please tell me about yourself. And Arjuna said, and Krishna said, Kalos me, Bharata. He said, I am the time, is a time I am. Every day time there's a tickling. Every day time is tick, tick, tick. There's always time is always tickling, right? But time is Krishna. We say time, we say in the West we say that time and tide wait for no man. Time is always going, correct? Time and tide wait for no man. So that's why devotees, we cannot take chance to waste our time. Time is very, very, very important. Devotees cannot take chance to waste time, because only a lazy person wastes time. Only somebody who is lazy wastes time. But devotees do not waste time, because devotees, they spend all their time engaging in devotional service of Krishna. And because devotees, they engage themselves in Krishna's service, they don't see that time is enough. We said, okay, we have 24 hours. It's like devotees, they feel that the time is so short. 24 hours, such a short time. The Goswamis, they are so much absorbed in Krishna's service, that most of the time they forget to sleep. They forget to eat, to sleep. There's so much of it's like there's just not enough time to do Krishna service. There's just not enough time. But in our own situation, we do everything according to the time calculation. Okay, how much time do I have? I was given this service, how much time, we are ending our service, and then maybe I need some vacation. After I've done so much service, so therefore now I need to go on vacation. I need time for rest. This is, of course, because we are so neophyte, so therefore we think this way. But the real devotees of Krishna, they never think that, there should be time for it, because they see Krishna in everything. They just want to render that loving service unto Krishna. The gopis of Vrindavan, they want to see Krishna all the time. And they cannot even tolerate the fact that they have to blink their eyes. Because when they blink their eyes, and the blinking of the eye only takes just fraction of a second. But that blinking of the eye, the gopis, they get very mad at Brahma. They get upset with him and say, Brahma, what kind of creator are you? You are such an incompetent creator, because you have created this eye, and this eye keep blinking. And by blinking, it enables us, it prevents us from seeing Krishna continuously. Because Krishna is so attractive. Krishna's beauty is always ever increasing. So the gopis, they want to, when they just want to keep looking at that beautiful form of Krishna. And when their eyes blink, they say, Brahma, what kind of creator are you? That you are unable us, you giving us this eye that blinks. What kind of creator are you? So therefore, I think you need some more training. So this is the situation here. So Krishna said, time I am. And of course, we know that in the material world, time controls everything in the material world. But so which means in the material world, there's a time factor in the material world. But in the spiritual world, there is no time factor in the spiritual world. In the material world, everything is according to past, present, and future in the material world. So that's how the time regulates. Past, present, and future. But in the spiritual world, it's not like that. Spiritual is always ever present. That's the difference. The material world is by time factor, but in the spiritual there's no time factor. So which means in the spiritual world there is no consideration of daytime or nighttime. It's always daytime. There's no such thing as nighttime. It's always daytime in the spiritual world. But this, of course, at the same time, by the laws on sweet arrangement, sometimes there may be the manifestation of the 6 seasons. But the six seasons, they all manifest at the same time around. So the devotees, they can have, different types of loving relationship with Krishna. So all the 6 seasons, they are manifested at the same time. It's not that we have winter, then we have to wait for a few months, then we have summertime, or we have autumn, we have, no. In the spiritual world, all the time elements, they are always there at the same time. So therefore, the only factor in the spiritual world is the bliss. That is always, the bliss is the underlying principle. So Lord Brahma is in his Brahma Samhita, at the end of it, Suya Kanta Kanta Paramapurusa Kapatarabo Duma Bo Mechintamani Ganamaitoya Mamitan Katan Natan Gama Gaman Kapan Katan Natan Gaman Mampivansi Priyasaki Chidananda Jyoti Paramapi Dashada Matika. So Lord Brahma is saying that in the spiritual world is a place that is always, the ground itself is like Chintamani. It's not ordinary ground. It's full of purposeful gems, the ground. And the trees, the all desire trees. In the spiritual, the trees are the desire trees, which means you can go to the tree, anything you want, we give you. You want rasgulla, the tree will give you. Anything you want, you give you. You want, milk, whatever you want, we give. That's a desire tree. And it's such a place also whereby when people speak, it's like singing. When they speak, it's like singing. And when devotees, when they walk, it's like dancing. So it's a place whereby walking is like dancing and speaking is like singing. So Srila Jiva Goswami was saying that, so if in the spiritual world, if just by walking is like dancing, so how much more if they actually have to dance itself? Just imagine if they actually have to dance. Because by walking it's like dance, and by talking it's like singing. So how much more will be if they actually have to sing? So you can just imagine, which means it's actually beyond our description. So the Lord said here, time I am, and then of course we should that aham vishuto mokaha, that the Creator, God has so many created beings, lot of creators in the material world, many creators are there, so many demigods are there, they're always creating something. Even we ourselves, some particular, we can create something in our own way, like an engineer, or just like an architect who designed this temple, there's always all kind of many creators. But the Lord said, but among all the creators, I am Brahma. Because Brahma is the most important personality within this universe. So he's the creator. And of course, Brahma, he has 4 heads. So Brahma here has 4 heads. And each of those 4 heads faces different directions. North, south, east, and west. And of course, so which means Brahma is everywhere. Which means nobody can avoid seeing him. Nobody can do anything away from him. He sees everything. And of course, this universe we have 4-headed Brahma. Some other universe they have much more. 8-headed Brahma is there. Some other universe have 16-headed Brahma, 32-headed Brahma. Different Brahmas are there. So the Lord said, of the Brahmas, of the creators, I am Brahma. Vishwatamaka. I'm the Brahma whose face faces everywhere. And of course, the most qualified person normally become Brahma, which means the most qualified living entity, the most pious living entity become Brahmaji for the universe. So Brahma is not an ordinary position that anyone can attain. The topmost qualified person. Now, if one perform 100 Ashwamedha Yaga, you become Indra by performing 100 Ashwamedha Yaga or sacrifice. You become Indra. But you have to perform another 100 times that 100, let's say 1,000 Ashwamedha Yaga, by which a person can become Brahma. But Ashwamedha Yaga is not ordinary Yaga. It's not such a simple thing. Which means the most pious person can perform Ashwamedha Yaga, the horse sacrifice. It's not something that any ordinary person can perform. So, which means one had to perform 1,000 Ashwamedha Yaga in order to become Brahma. And typically, if there is not qualified person who can become Brahma in a particular creation, then the Lord himself, sometimes he become Brahma himself sometimes. So the Lord sometimes become Brahma if there's not a qualified person to become Brahma. Because from Brahma, it being the creator, also the Vedic scriptures come from him. He manifests the Vedic scriptures, and he teach the process of devotional service to the Lord. Just like we have our Sampradaya coming from Brahmaji, Brahma Madhya Gaudiya Sampradaya. So the Lord come, he gave knowledge to Brahma, and then Brahma in turn gave knowledge to his various sons, sages, disciples, like that. So only the most qualified person become Brahma, and that person, the Lord say, I am that person. I'm that person. So in the subsequent verses, which we're going to be reading, the Lord say, I'm the beginning, I'm the end, and that, I am death. So many things I am. So which means we can think of anything in this material world. We can think of anything wonderful in this material world, that yes, all those wonderful things can only be related to the Lord himself. All those wonderful things. And towards the end of this chapter, whereby Lord Krishna told Arjuna, he said, Yaya Vibhutima Sattva Sriman Ujitam E Baba. And then Saya, what is that? The last line said that Mama Tenju Ansashambhava. He said that, so the Lord, he was describing everything to Arjuna. He was telling him about all these things, how is this, is that. Among the sages is Brigu, among the holy rivers is Ganges, It's everything. We describe how whatever, anything, most wonderful thing we can think of this material world, the Lord said, this is me. Anything we can think of this, he said, this is me. And then at the end, he told Arjuna, he said, but what is the use of describing all this to you? What is the use? He said, after all, with a single fragment of myself, I pervaded the entire creation. Just with a single fragment of myself. Mama Teja means, means energy, the fire, Teja. It's a Hamsa means the fragment of myself. I pervaded the entire universe, the whole creation. So this whole creation by which we are so enamored by, this is just only a tiny fragment of the Lord's energy. And that's why it's been described that this material world only represents a very tiny corner, very tiny spot of the Lord's creation. And the major portion of the Lord's manifestation is the spiritual world. Spiritual world actually represents the major portion. It's like the material world is considered to be one quarter of the Lord's creation. And then the material world is like the spiritual world is like a 3/4. Actually, it's actually unlimited. Is unlimitedly qualified. So as devotees, we tend to be devotees. So we can be describing all these things. We can just be describing. We can just enable us to know how wonderful, how great the Lord is. And by learning how great the Lord is, it gives us much courage to render devotion service unto Krishna. So just one short story. There were two persons. Let's say they were devotees, but one is a cobbler and the other one is a brahmana. Brahmana is a big pandit, great scholar, and the cobbler, he's just an ordinary simple person. The shoemaker, cobbler, the shoemaker, shoe shiner. Normally somebody that shines your shoe, you don't think much of that person. It's a cobbler. So one time Narada Muni, he was traveling. Narada Muni goes from material world to the spiritual world. He traveled back and forth, material world and the spiritual world. So as Narada Muni was traveling, he came to the ashram of a brahmana. He came to his ashram, and the brahmana was very, very happy that, oh, great Narada Muni have come. And then he asked Narada, he said, where are you going? Narada said, well, I'm going to the spiritual world. I'm going to Vaikuntha to see Lord Narayana. I'm going there to see him. So the brahmana was so happy. He said, oh, we are going to see the Lord. Oh, can you ask my Lord? Can you ask Narayana that how much longer time it will take for me to be free from this material world? When will I, get liberation? When will I go back to the spiritual world? Ask the Lord this question. So Narada said, yes, okay, I will ask the Lord. I will ask the Lord when, you will come back. And then so Narada was going, and then he saw a cobbler. A cobbler is a simple person, he's a simple devotee. He's, very, very happy to see Narada Muni, gave him nice honor, nice worship. And then when he heard that Narada Muni was going to the spiritual world, so he asked him that, well, can you ask my Lord, when will I be liberated from this material world? So Narada Muni said, okay, I will ask. So Narada Muni, so he went to Vaikuntha, he went to the Vaikuntha, and then he asked the Lord Narayana that I saw these two devotees, the Brahmana and the Cobbler, so they're both asking me, when will they come to the spiritual world? When will they be liberated? So the Lord replied, he said, the Brahmana, not for another millions of lifetime, before he can come to me, another millions of lifetimes, before he can be liberated. And for the cobbler, this is his last life. This very life is coming to me, this very life. So Narada Muni was very surprised. He said, how come? Brahmana is a great pandit. He's teaching Bhagavad-Gita every day, giving so many nice knowledge, teaching people, how come? Why is it going to take him such a long time before he can come to the spiritual world, before he can be liberated? And the cobbler, he have no knowledge, and he's coming back this lifetime. So what is the reason why? So then the Lord told Narada Muni that, okay, when you will know, when they ask you what I was doing when you saw me, you tell them that Narayan, he was treading, and he was treading a needle with an elephant. He was taking an elephant, and he was taking it through the eye of a needle, this way, that way. This is what the Lord was doing when I saw him. And then you will get your answer. So, Narada Muni, so he came back to the material world, and then he met these two persons. First of all, he saw the Brahmana, and the Brahmana was very, very happy to see him. He honored him. And then he asked Brahmana that, then the Brahmana asked Narada Muni that, by the way, when you saw the Lord, how much longer will it take for me to attain liberation? So Narada Muni told him that, well, the Lord said, not for another 1,000,000 lifetimes. So the Brahmana was very surprised. He said, how come? Another millions of lifetimes? I'm such a great Brahmana. I know all the Vedic scripture, everything. Millions of lifetimes. How is that possible? And by the way, when you saw the Lord, what was he doing? Because, the Brahmana, he was very doubtful. He said, how is it going to possible for me that it's going to take me another millions of lifetime in order for me to attain liberation? So he want to ask, he said, okay, when you saw him, what was he doing? So Narada Muni said, well, when I saw the Lord, he was treading the eye of a needle with an elephant. He was taking an elephant, taking it through the eye of a needle, this way, that way. So when the Brahmana heard it, he started laughing. He said, oh, see, I told you, you are just lying. How is it possible for anyone to tread and to take an elephant through a needle? So you are just lying to me. So he chased away Narada Muni. He said, he didn't, you are just lying to me. So he chased him away. You see? So Narada Muni, of course, could know that this fellow has no faith. And then when he saw the cobbler, so the cobbler was very, very happy that Narada Muni has come back. And then the cobbler asked Narada Muni that, how long is it going to take me for me to attain liberation? What did Lord say? So Narada Muni said that, well, the Lord said that this is your last life. At the end of this life, you are going back home, back to Godhead. So the cobbler was very surprised. He said, oh, how is that possible? I am such an illiterate. I have no knowledge of the Vedas. I can't, I'm such an ignorant person. How is it possible, for me to attain such a liberation? And then, by the way, what was my Lord doing when he saw him? What was he doing? And then Narada Muni described that when I saw the Lord, he was treading the eye of a needle with an elephant, this way, this way. So when the cobbler heard this, he was full of ecstasy. He was dancing. Oh, my Lord is so wonderful. He can do anything. He's so wonderful. He was dancing, shedding tears. So full of ecstasy. And then Narada Muni asked him, said, do you believe that? The cobbler said, of course I believe that. My Lord can do a wonderful thing. From a small seed, he can manifest and create a gigantic banyan tree. What is impossible for the Lord to do, not is impossible for him to do. So therefore, Narada Muni could see the faith of the person. So which means everything is all depends on the faith that we have on the Lord. So which means not so much of how much knowledge we have. It's not so much of how much expertise we have. Everything boils down to our faith in the Lord. Faith in the process. And that's why devotees are very, very simple. They accept things as it comes to them. Devotees, they are not analytical. Very simplicity. And with that simplicity, they're able to render loving devotional service, unto the Lord. Okay. So I'm going to stop here because our art is coming. So any question or comment about Hare Krishna? Hare Krishna.
As you said, Lord is saying, I am the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, just like time is splitting every second.
Yeah.
So, that is Krishna.
Yeah.
So, just like you giving the story of the faith,
Mm-hmm.
always having faith. And if we have faith in our time, and if we see our watch and see every second is sleeping in Krishna, 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 Krishna. If you think on that one, without doing anything, we are doing so many things. Attending Mangalarti, Bhagavatam class, Bhagavad-Gita, this one, so many things we are doing.
Yeah.
We are doing Ekadashi, we want to do a parikrama for Vrindavan, we want to go down parikrama. So many things we are doing. And instead of doing all these things and just we see our wristwatch and meditate on Krishna, 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 we don't have to go anywhere else. Well, Prabhupada is giving the example of Sarva Dharman Parityajaya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja Aham Dam Sarvape Mokshe Shantimas. So somebody asked Prabhupada, how fast you can understand? The Prabhupada said, within a second you can understand the Lord. So if we see that we are the time is Lord and we just meditate on the Lord, I think we don't have to do anything else.
Well, that is kind of my bad. My body don't want to do anything. I want to get nirvana. No. Krishna is time. So therefore devotees don't want to waste time. They always engaging in loving, service to Krishna, because devotees, they want to give pleasure to Krishna. They want to give pleasure to Krishna, and they don't want to waste any moment. They want to see Krishna happy always. Like the perfect example of the devotees are the gopis of Vrindavan. When Krishna, when they met Krishna in the forest, and Krishna told them that Krishna said, "Go back to your home, go back to your household. Your family members, your elders, your children, they are waiting for you. Don't come to be with me here in the forest." So the gopi, they said, the gopi, they said, "Dear Krishna, we know what you want. What is this so-called family members, elder? What is this? Are nothing to us." So their intensity is how to give Krishna pleasure, how to give him, So therefore, devotional service is called Anu Kuyena Krishnanu Silana Bhakti. Uttama means that we want to do those things that is always favorable, that's always pleasurable for Krishna. So therefore, wasting time, it's not that we're just looking at the time, okay, Krishna, 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 Krishna. No, that's my bad. Because Krishna's consciousness means to render service to Krishna. That's Krishna Bhakti. Krishna Bhakti means we engage in service to Krishna, and it's called there are Navada Bhakti is there, which is the nine process of devotional service, which begin from Shravana, Kirtana, Smaranam, Parasevanam, like that, hearing, chanting, remembering, worship the deities, like 9 processes of devotional service, by which a devotee can choose any of those 9 processes. But at the same time, there are also someone like Ambarish Maharaj, who is actually performing all the 9 processes of devotional service. So, which means all part of not wasting any single moment, So Krishna said, "Time I am." So, which means Krishna said, be Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. Even when we sleep, it's not that we are not sleeping just to give pleasure to the body, because when we are sleeping, we can also render service to Krishna in a different environment. Like there's what we call swapna. Swapna means in the dreamy stage, whereby devotee in one circumstance, when they are awake, they render service to Krishna, and also when they are asleep, they also render service to Krishna in another capacity. But we cannot be just sit down. Think that okay, I can just be thinking of Krishna all the time. No, we can't do that, because that's not the process that's been given to us, and that is not the process by which Krishna, we can be able to be in that environment whereby we can dance with Krishna, we can go to the forest with Krishna, following the footsteps of the gopis and the gopas, like that. So we basically have to follow that footstep which has been given to us, which has been shown to us by the Goswamis. So just by looking at time is Krishna, but it means we do not want to waste any time. without engaging in the devotional service of Krishna. So everything we do, because it's either Krishna capture our mind or Maya capture our mind. It's always one of the two. Something has to be there. Either Krishna is there or Maya is there, one of the two. So which means if we are not engaged in Krishna service, then Maya will give us engagement. That's reality. And Maya will give us engagement in form of, service to our family members, society. Maya will give us all kind of engagement if we are not engaged in Krishna service. So it's better to choose Krishna instead of choose Maya. It's one of the two. Like that. Is that okay?
We are choosing any type of service, but the three modes of material nature, we are forcing us to deviate from our service in whatever we want to do. So modes of material nature, they are always on top of us to see that how we should deviate from this.
Well, the most of material nature is there as long as we're not attentive to our service. If you're not attentive, and also if our service is not pure, we are very calculative in what we are doing. Everything is based on consideration. Okay, I'm doing this, how much time I have, or what am I going to get out of it? So as long as that is there, then of course the most of nature is going to be there. Whereas the real service of Krishna is beyond the most of material nature. It's transcendental to the most of material nature. Because most of nature is only within this material world. It has no place in the spiritual world. So devotional service to Krishna is an activity of the spiritual world. It's not a materialistic activity. So which means devotional service to Krishna is beyond the most of material nature. But if the service is not pure, then the most of nature will kick in. Maya will kick in. The moment we start thinking of Krishna, that moment, Maya will give us something to think about. Correct? Just like sometimes many of us, when we do Sankirtan in the West, you are doing Sankirtan, that you have to do your Sankirtan, you have to do book distribution. And then sometimes you start thinking of your service. Next thing you know, you are going to the movie theater. So after all, let me go rest for some, let me go to the movie theater after some time. So immediately, Maya gives you engagement, instead of being engaged in Krishna. And that is why association is very, very important. Very, very important association. We always have to be in the association of advanced devotees. Those who can enable us to make progress in Krishna consciousness. We always have to be in a good association. So which means as long as we're in a good association, then the most of nature will not kick in. The most of nature will not be. It's very, very difficult because it's not a simple thing. But this is something that we have to desire. We have to desire that, even though it's very, very difficult. And that's why our chanting, when we are chanting, it has to be in the mode of crying to Krishna, crying. When the child is, crying for the mother pay attention. The child is crying with sincerity. The child is very innocent, no motive. When the child is crying, very sincere, so the mother comes. Similarly, if we are chanting, we are actually in the form of crying to Krishna, then, the Lord will come. He will reciprocate with us. So which means it's all up to us, basically.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, okay. Okay, speaker is coming.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. How we can explain faith? That some people have faith and some don't have.
Yeah. So faith is, because it's been described very nicely throughout the scriptures. Vishwas means faith. The faith that yes, Krishna will always give me protection. That faith, that's one of the underlying principles of faith, that Krishna will always give me protection. And sometimes we don't have so much faith in that. Sometimes depend on our own ability to protect ourselves. Just like when Draupadi, when she was being distrobed, Dusasan was pulling her sari. Dusasan was very, very strong. It's a shorter, very strong, much stronger than Draupadi. So Dusasan was ready to strip Draupadi naked. And Draupadi, she was trying to protect herself. She was pulling back the sari. She was looking at her husband, and her husband, they just lost their kingdom, they lost everything. Her husband, they cannot do anything. So she looked at all the elderly Kurus, Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, Kripacharya. They were only looking, they could not do anything. So Draupadi, she tried, and the best she was no match to Dushasana. So the only thing she could think of is say, well, I can only depend on Krishna. So she raised up her hand and said, hey Govinda, hey Krishna Govinda. And immediately, because she gave up her own ability to protect herself, now fully committed to depend on Krishna. So immediately Krishna came and it became an unlimited sari to give Draupadi Draupadi protection. And when later on, when Draupadi, when she asked Krishna that, why did it take you so long to come and give me protection? Why did it take you so long? So Krishna says, I was simply waiting for when you give up time to protect yourself. I was simply waiting for when you will complete surrender to me, when you will give up protecting yourself. At the moment she raised up her hand, hey Krishna, hey Govinda, with full faith, immediately Krishna came and gave her protection. So the key ingredient of our Krishna consciousness is the faith that we have. That faith, that Krishna is everything for me. Krishna is always, like that deep faith has to be there. But that's why it's always good for us to always be in the holy association. We should be in the holy association. If you are not in the holy association, then our faith becomes very weak, and then it becomes very difficult to really progress in the worship service of Krishna. So the holy association is very, 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 very important. The most important.
It's a question of Sukriti.
Well, Sukriti is there, yeah, of course. Samskar must be there. But it's also the bhagya, fortunate. One of the very, very highly fortunate to come across a topmost devotee, a great devotee, so that when we come across that great devotee increases our faith like that. So many, many things to be learned in this, in this point. Anyway, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Krishna Balaram ki, Gopi Manande.